Okay, so we're gonna do a joy meditation here. You can put your music on if you want, or just listen to me. And I want you, as we are meditating together, just to start to breathe a little deeper. When we are in fight or flight, we can move easily out of joy. We can move into either a more depressive state or a more anxious state. And a depressive state where it's like low energy, this, and this. So interesting, the stigma and shame we have on depression and anxiety. It's actually a really beautiful biological response in our bodies that says there's a potential threat, whatever it might be, because our brain experienced a trauma when we were little. So it says, oh, there might be a potential threat out in the world. Let me shut you down. Pain's too big to actually maybe be that rejected again, or maybe that unseen again, or maybe that unloved again, whatever it was we experienced. So our body pulls us into that state, right? It's like a numbing agent. And so then we try to like work really hard to get out of this state, as opposed to first meet it with understanding, meet it with love. You know, it's such a beautiful thing to realize, even in our pain, there's nothing wrong with us. There's always something that is our traumas trying to come to the surface to be healed, or we're believing something that isn't serving us, etc. So I'm sharing that because the opposite of joy, I mean, I guess there's lots of opposites, but one would probably be sadness, emptiness, dull, low energy. And so if we're there from time to time, we almost want to offer it in our pain. We want to offer it gratitude. It's hard, but not like, oh, I'm so grateful for this, but just, oh, there's a biological ancient part of me that's loving me, that's protecting me, that's saying this pain out there that I've experienced is too much. And I'm just going to pull you down. So just our awareness when we're in those low states of, oh, this could be my nervous system trying to protect me, takes a whole boatload of shame of like, there's something wrong with me. I should be happier. I should feel better. There's so much wisdom inside of us. And we are not taught, like, this is how your body works. This is how emotions work. And we're just walking around without a manual. And it causes so much pain. So I'm here to kind of put little remind of little bits and pieces of the manual that I uncover on my wild and crazy journey as well. I looked at your name, Kennedy, as I was saying journey, and I almost said journey. That's why it came out weird. Okay, so super cool. Kennedy journey. That sounds fun. I'm going to say that's joy right there. So our bodies are amazing. And that's a lot for me to say. I was telling Akua that I had a back injury resurface this week. And it's like so humbling to be like, wow, this is for me, not against me. And I've really come to see that, yes, we can work on our minds to inform our bodies, but we can also work on our bodies, or let's say activate something within our bodies to remind our mind. We can have a bottom-up approach. They did a study where it's 80-20. So 80% of the information in the body, 20% of the information in the brain. So the body has more power to inform the brain. So why not, like, yes, it's helpful to look here, but why not we focus on the body? What the heck does that even mean? There's things that we can do, as you've learned, there's areas we can stimulate on our body that create a relaxation response that move us more into our natural state. There's breathing that we can do. There's noticing sensations in the body that inform us that we are safe, that start to regulate our nervous system into a state of calm and clarity from that lower state that we all fall into during periods of our week. Some of us stay in it longer because of the trauma we've had, and then some of us dip in and out of it. But there's a really cool, so two things. I'm going to tell you about a really cool TEDx talk, and then we're going to do it. so joy, this is important to share, is our natural state. And when we're not there a lot, we're like, what the hell? That doesn't make sense that that's my natural state. It feels very hard to come by. We're in a very serious society. It looks, I'm not smart enough. I can't be respected if I'm goofy or silly or enjoy. But what I've come to see is that when we do the healing work, whatever that path might be for you, it's not like we have to try really hard to be joyful. It's what's left. So whether you feel it or not right now, it's a wonderful thing and a calming thing to see, oh, this is going to be a byproduct of my healing work, and it's going to just rise to the surface as I come back home. So Amy, I think her name's Cuddy, Amy Cuddy, I might have that wrong, but she was on to this, and she did a TEDx talk where they did this scientific study where you've probably, tell me if you've heard this in the chat, but they put people's bodies before, I think it was job interviews or something, into certain positions. Then they looked at nature, like when apes were, like whichever ape was ruling. When people are in power, they like looked at Oprah's stance, leaders, things like that, people that were powerful people, and mimicked those body, the biological stance of this person, and then, hook them up to a machine, a very fancy machine, and notice that when they were in these positions, so again, they did nothing with the mind or said, I am powerful, literally just put the body into a position of power so that you're not anxious or powerless or in a depressive state. And within 2 minutes, cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which causes us anxiety and depression, keeps us in fight or flight, drastically dropped. And testosterone, which makes us feel more powerful, safer, more of an ability to be confident, go out in the world, to heal, to do whatever we need to do, rose. And so they would have these people do this stuff 2 minutes before like a job interview or work or whatever, things that they were afraid of. And these people were getting the job over the people that weren't doing this for 2 minutes. So I'm going to show you, because you're sitting down. So if you don't know these yet, one of them is behind your head like this. But if you look at it, you'll notice like, oh, like I see people that are really not as traumatized sitting like this. It's open and it's going to feel so uncomfortable, but I invite you to try these out because we're going to do it for 2 minutes before the meditation to literally turn, like lower stress hormones in the body. Oh, cool. Yes. Okay. So you know the superhero stance. Yep. So that's one of them. So you can put your hands behind your head. You can open up your arms like this. They studied, look at these runners that go across the finish line. What do? So this is another one. So behind the head, up, and I invite you just to pick one and hold it. It's going to feel so uncomfortable at first. Or as Akua was just saying, hands on the waist. And that's, and you're sitting and that's okay. But ideally it's standing with the hands on the waist. We can feel that our chest is out a little bit, our head's up like Superman or Superwoman. So these are the ones that we can do sitting. So hand behind the head, up or down, or like if I'm sitting here talking to you, my hands sprawled out and open. Shame and anxiety and depression make us sit like this. So if I was talking to you guys like this, or my hands are crossed, or the worst, like if our hands on our neck, we're very protective of ourselves or very ashamed. We're just covering who we are. So just notice if you're like this and you're in a meeting, or just can I take up a little bit more space? That was a trauma response. Okay. So pick one right now. We're going to hold it for 2 minutes. I'm going to do it with you. It might feel a little ridiculous. I know it makes me giggle when I do it. Especially like in the study too, they said, sadly, mostly women aren't used to sitting like that. Can you imagine like all the women in meetings just like chilling like this? We're changing it though. Just walk in. right? But people will respect you more. And this isn't like I'm going to pretend and just do this for fun. This literally is creating right now within you a complete shift in your biology, which is informing your brain. He's okay, she's okay, they're okay. Doing good, almost there. And sometimes these things are hard because I don't believe in suppression of emotion or energy. But we're not pushing away anything. We're still dealing with the emotions that arise. We're still dealing with the difficulties. And so whenever, like, to me, I see it as healing and expansion. We don't have to like suppress and then only be positive. It's like just this part of my day, I'm choosing to allow my body to have some nurturing. And if an emotion arises during the day, I can nurture it and tend to it. Good. So I invite you, if one of these is comfortable, if you're leaning back or your arms are open or your hands are on your waist, this is kind of an easier one for meditation. I invite you to hold that. If you hold it a little bit longer, obviously you get more benefit, but just kind of notice. Do I feel a little bit calmer than when I came in? Do I feel a little more softer? Do I feel a little more open? Do I feel a little bit more like, okay, I can do life? When we're in fight or flight, we're in deep overwhelm of I can't do this, either on the depressive side of like, Jesus, I can't do this anymore, or I can't do this anymore. And these body-based modalities give us that subtle feeling of like, yeah, life's fucking hard. Life's filled with challenges. Life's up and down, but I can do this. I can do this. Okay. So go ahead and close the eyes. Actually, I'm going to have you keep your eyes open for 1 second because I'm just going to keep taking you into these things that will move us into more of a state of joy. So we're going to do something called orienting. When we are caught up in fight or flight, we're in our brain. We're not in the present moment. And so we're going to engage a part of our brain that calms us down. When we look around the room, and again, these things might sound silly, but they're profound healings. And over time, our brain learns and learns and learns. This one time, it might be like 1% calmer. And then you do it again tomorrow, and you're like, oh, I feel 5% calmer. And it just adds. So looking around the room, find 5 things that your eye lands on. I want you just to describe it to me. You guys are all on silent, so I can't hear you. But like, so there's a fern in front of me, mostly alive, some dead leaves. And there's a like cream, maybe 4 inches around the top. And then blue with little white brush strokes of paint that looks like somebody might have done themselves. So just very descriptively, don't just like brush over it, because our brain, when it's in a hurry, brushes over things. Get your brain to focus on something and describe it to me, the colors, the textures, and just keep breathing and relaxing. But I just want you to tell me 5 things that you see and describe them. And then now you can go into closing your eyes, and I just want you to notice how you feel. So how was looking at something like that? And it could be so subtle. Are you taking a deeper breath? Are your muscles kind of moving in the direction of settling a little bit? It could be really subtle. But this brings us back into the here and now when we notice it, and we notice how it makes us feel when it's something nice, right? Our brain is constantly spinning in these trauma loops to keep us safe. And we must pull ourselves out of it and kind of look at like, wait, I'm in the present moment. I'm not in 1984. And there is some semblance of safety in my environment, which informs our body and our brain to relax, which moves us more over time into a state of rest and digest, which is where joy, natural joy lives. Okay, so this is where we settle in, and if you want to put your music on, you can. It might already be on, but just let yourself drift behind your eyes and let this be easy. Let this be a safe space to relax. And let this be a safe space to allow anything to come up. Sometimes we go into meditation with the intention of peace, and then we don't come out peaceful, and we're like, what was that? But there's this beautiful healing mantra of truth, which is, I can be uncomfortable and safe at the same time. I can be uncomfortable and safe at the same time. So healing sometimes means suppressed energies that I didn't want to feel are starting to rise to the surface because I'm present and I feel safer. Right? So there's nothing wrong if emotions come through, sensations come through. And I want you just to only allow 1% at a time of whatever it is that's arising to move through, as we do this very slow. We don't want to overwhelm our systems. So I'm behind my eyes, I'm in my body, and we notice, we ground, and we notice our bodies on the surface. This is easy for some people. This is hard for some people. Because when we experience pain, we leave the body. And that doesn't mean we're like hanging outside of our body. It just means that we're not fully aware of this vessel. We're not feeling the feelings and the sensations here. Our brain has kind of separated us from it because it was too much pain. And so we slowly reparent ourselves, and we come back home, and we feel the connection between our body and what's underneath of us. And we slow down, And we move into the belly breath as we take 3 deep breaths in and out of the belly, nice and slow, nice and gentle. And as you know, it feels really good to our nerves, whether we're in a lower or higher state, to open our mouths and just exhale with that light sound as if we're fogging up a mirror. So deep breath into the belly, and so slower, longer exhales. There's such a distinct difference when we do healing work or meditate between trying to fix myself or trying to control my state of being, as opposed to just nurturing myself, having compassion for myself, unconditionally allowing where I am. And so can we see if we can move from, I'm going to breathe to get better, I'm going to feel that I'm here to improve, to fix, to I'm going to just relax into the moment. I'm going to offer myself nurturance with this beautiful breath, comfort with wherever I am, reassurance that I'm here now. By I mean you. And me, I've got your back too. So as you settle a little bit deeper within, continue these beautiful breaths. Let your body inform your mind that you're safe, and let it happen in very slow increments, nothing to force. The body's so smart. We're just giving it an environment to thrive. There is a quote by Alexander Heyer who says, see if you can feel this in your body as you breathe. When a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower. When a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower. So can you breathe with nurturance? Can you offer yourself that incredible environment you craved, right? That I am okay, that I am enough, that I am lovable, that we're going to get through this, that you're not alone, that it's okay, sweet one, that I am here. Just breathe and relax, allowing whatever is here to be here, letting it move through in small ways. As we begin to bring to mind, lastly, something that embodies joy. So maybe it's a place, maybe it's a person or a comedian that you love, or an actress or actor, or animal that's real silly, or a child, or something that you enjoy, a place, a crystal, a plant. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just your sense of joy in the moment. Just let this thing rise into your awareness. And maybe you see it, or you feel it, or you sense it, or you know it. And this thing is in your environment, in your mind. And I want you just to notice it. We have these incredible things called mirror neurons that when we are just with something in a different vibration, our body starts to match it. And so, almost like you're a friend sitting with a friend, I just want you to kind of observe this joyful thing and its energy. And naturally and slowly, could you allow your body to slowly, in tolerable ways, maybe it's just 1% of what this thing is. Maybe this thing's 100% joy and you allow in maybe 7%, that's enough. Could you let your body start to match this energy? In very little, small ways, could you lean in to whatever is tolerable, a tolerable amount of joy? Just breathing and relaxing in this space, this last moment. Just noticing how that feels in your body. Noticing if there's warmth or lightness or expansion or settling. Maybe it's so subtle. Knowing we can come back to this anchor whenever we need and just allow a little of their medicine in, and our body starts to match it and remind us, oh, this is who you are too. So we slowly return to the present as we remember that we are behind our eyes and we are in our body, and we notice now that our body is connected under us, or in the seat or the bed or wherever we are, and our body is weighted down in space and gravity's holding us here. And we take a deep breath into the belly, letting everything go, stretching, wiggling, shaking out of meditation, whatever feels good for you, and just noticing where you are now from where you were in the beginning. Opening your eyes whenever you're ready. Thank you for joining me for today's joy meditation. Thanks for the idea. And I'll hopefully see y'all in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.